That is an STG-44. This is a Scar H. Or should I say Scar 44? ST Car? H? The way that Vanguard's weapon modifications make my brain itch, it's probably the STD-44. And with that infantile joke, welcome to a quick point about the copy and paste Call of Duty Vanguard beta. This video only concerns itself with the multiplayer part of Call of Duty Vanguard, informed by the beta. Neither the single player nor zombie mode could be tested. After spending a good dozen hours on Call of Duty Vanguard multiplayer, I can say, well, that was boring. The whole beta felt so familiar, but not necessarily in a positive sense. It felt incredibly generic and boring, like I said. Over the course of playing the beta, I did not have the feeling of playing a new game. At most, an add-on for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, or rather a tiny DLC. And although the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 multiplayer was fun to me, I found the Vanguard beta to be rather dull. Gameplay.
Lauf lieber davon, Tommy!
The gameplay is almost identical to that of Black Ops or Modern Warfare 2019, the two predecessors. But still, it felt not as good, especially compared to Modern Warfare 2019, and that game had problems. Aiming down the iron sights turned me into a practical sniper, enabling me to spray down enemies even over a great distance with an MG42, taking on snipers with ease. Sledgehammer Games made a very strange decision that I absolutely cannot understand, one which cost me my virtual life on multiple occasions. While you can aim down sights without any problems when sliding, jumping, falling and so on, the moment you lay down, you go out of zoom and stop shooting for a fraction of a second. This often means death and doesn't make any sense. The TTK, or time to kill. I also found that the guns did way too much damage, even in softcore. I rarely had the chance to react when I was attacked from the side or from behind. The submachine guns in particular, along with the STG-44, were absolute killing machines. But the shotguns, or even the first revolver shotgun, absolute rubbish. Not only did it take longer to reload than any other weapon, it usually didn't even kill with one shot in close quarter combat. So in the one discipline for the shotgun, it failed. The way they came up with this kind of balancing, it just eludes me. Characters. Like its two predecessors, Vanguard uses an operator system. That means everyone has a special character, looking very individualistic, something very contrary to the idea of military uniforms. If you have no proper uniforms, friend and foe recognition becomes rather hard. In Call of Duty Vanguard, this has been dialed up to 11 because the same characters can be on both sides. Very often the opponent or I didn't even react to the enemy because we thought they were on our side. That was somehow more acceptable in Call of Duty 2019 with its modern scenario, and you having way more irregular forces that don't wear proper uniforms nowadays. This is an absolute no-go in a game that uses World War II as a setting, at least in our opinion here. Everyone is aware of the very distinct uniforms that Allies and Axis powers wore. It is also kind of funny that I couldn't change my character. Yet, I expect a lot of unlockables and purchasable options. And while we are talking about unlockable options, the unlocks. Since it is a modern Call of Duty, all weapons have to have countless upgrades, no matter how realistic or unrealistic it is. We have a modern suppressor on an STG-44, paired with a Russian magazine, a folding stock from an MP40, and a modern-looking red dot. Is it stupid? Yeah. Am I surprised? No. I have to be honest, I knew from the start that Activision and Sledgehammer Games are using the Second World War only as a rough scenario and not as a strict guideline. I take it as an alternative timeline. But that's also the reason why it feels like a DLC, it doesn't appear like a mainline entry. Maps and spawns. None of the maps stood out in a remarkable way. Especially the small mountain map, Hotel Royale, was one of the worst. Opponents could spawn in between you and your teammates or right behind you with annoying regularity. On the Russian map Red Star, which is probably an homage to the Leningrad map from Call of Duty 2, you could spawn trap the enemy team. In general, the maps were poorly balanced and looked uninspired. The graphics.
Ich stehe unter schwerem Beschuss!
In general, the graphics of Call of Duty have never been awesome, and it's the same case here. In fact, it has stagnated since Call of Duty 2019, which was not breathtaking even back then. The graphics are practical, but certainly no breakthrough. There's nothing that stood out positively, and nothing that was really bad either, apart from the dogs from a kill streak. It is all mediocre, acceptable, the usual. What bothered me a bit is that the bullets look like a combination of tracer, incendiary and explosive projectiles when they hit an object. Very often they simply obscured the opponents. In particular if you had the killstreak killing machine. Sound.
Rückzug!
The sound struck me negatively. This is a weak point of Vanguard. The guns sound often flat, like airsoft guns. Okay, maybe that's a bit hyperbolic, but you get my point. They don't sound meaty, there's no big punch behind them. And that's something I always find important with video games, because you hear these sounds again and again and again, probably for years, and they need to sound interesting. The walking sounds, the steps the characters made, were at least halfway audible, but no matter whether outside or inside, they sounded the same, they didn't change. The general soundscape is basic. Grenades don't sound heavy either, artillery and killstreaks all appear to be connected through a telephone. Call of Duty hasn't been the sound reference for years, but they undercut themselves here. Conclusion.
In Deckung!
It is the Angela Merkel of video games. Steady quality for almost 20 years, competent design, but nothing that really sparks excitement or innovation. And much needed changes get neglected. To be honest, I can only say, don't buy the game. Not even as a hardcore fan. The game is not worth the money for the multiplayer. Maybe it gets an absolute killer single player, and if it does, buy it in a year on sale. Vanguard is a reskin of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. The game isn't bad or terrible, but it's not good either. It is incredibly mundane. And no, we are not hating on Call of Duty. But what are we supposed to say? It's the same game over and over again. And if you happen to enjoy the same game over and over again, then give a hug to your nearest FIFA player and enjoy yourselves. We are not stopping you. And while we are not stopping you from buying Call of Duty, we can't recommend it. But what we can recommend is pressing that subscribe button in case you liked the video. And if you did, consider giving it a thumbs up as well. And in case you absolutely loved our video, why not join our loyal supporters on Patreon, as our supporters there got to see this video well in advance. A big thank you to Lone Wolf, Zat Gladys, Wrapped in Glass, Cookie, Uncle DG, Harrison Steffens, Plasma, Tome, Rainbow Flash, Grizzlywer, Strange Module, Tainzer, Cop Fighter, Inter, Charles Third, Sir K, and Jared. To them and everyone else, thanks for watching. Hopefully see you guys next time. Until then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.